What's up, guys? I hope you guys are doing well. I know this is a bit of a slightly different setup to what I usually do on my desk, but I've essentially just got the camera against my window, and it's just going to be me basically talking whilst looking outside and kind of just walking around with some space to try and maybe convey the message a bit better with what I'm trying to aim for. It's something different, so let's just see how it goes. But in this video, I wanted to talk about delusion, insanity, the true way of thinking of what it takes to actually become a successful trader. So, if you want to be consistently profitable, have a good win rate, anything, whatever a successful trader means to you, right? So, from the day that we first learn about trading and we decide we want to be able to pick it up and do it for ourselves, want to get good at it, right? It's obviously going to take a number of years, and I've covered that numerous times in previous videos before as to why that's the case. So it's going to take a number of years, right? And you're going to have a learning phase, which will take a set number of time. And then you're also going to have a phase of trying to apply what you've learned, and you're going to struggle. So these two phases in itself that could be at least like 2 years. If we're being realistic, that could be at least like 2 years. And for the vast majority of it, you're not going to be seeing any sort of progress or any sort of results. And how this might be perceived from the outside perspective, from people who you might know, people who you've spoken to, your partner or your family, they might see this as something that's not normal, something that's weird. And the fact that you're going to be continually doing this and probably continually losing money, not seeing any progress, not seeing any results for probably still a very long time, they're going to see that as you being delusional. They're going to see that as you being insane, because what is the definition of insanity? It's doing the same thing over and over again, but expecting a different result. So I could completely understand why someone may think that doing trading for a number of years and not seeing any results can be considered insanity. But what they don't realize is that this is also a phase that someone has to go through in order to become a successful trader, because it doesn't just happen in a short amount of time, right? So this is the period where I believe that most traders will basically get weeded out. The ones who aren't finding progress from when they initially thought, from when they eventually find out that it's going to take longer and it's going to take a lot more effort than they initially thought. This is the kind of period of time where everyone goes through, and then it really differentiates who's going to become a successful trader and who's going to fail, pretty much. So the ones who fail will obviously be weeded out. They'll be taken out of the system, and that's the choice they've made. They're not going to be a successful trader anymore. That was their choice. But the ones who actually work past this and stay resilient to keeping their mind focused on the goal that they're trying to achieve, which is to become a successful trader, they're going to find that they're going to have a lot of people looking down on them. A lot of people are going to be questioning what they're doing. And some people are in a very fortunate position where they have friends or they have family who have been through a similar process like this. Maybe not in trading, but in other things as well. So they maybe don't have it as hard as other people. This is something that I'm going through, and it's not easy, It's not easy trying to convey this sort of message to people who are so fixated on the traditional, working a job, grafting really hard for a way of living. But when they see that there's a possibility of a way of becoming successful without actually having to abide to, society standards, they will consider this as weird and not normal, right? And the moment you start taking action towards trying to become a successful trader, it's you're going to be called crazy. So there's a nice phrase which I saw online a long time ago, right? And it's basically it basically says that you're considered crazy when you start doing things which are not like the normal. That's fair, right? But when you're crazy, it either means that you're going to be moving towards the top, or you're going to be moving to the bottom in life as a man, right? Or man or woman. The actions that you decide to take is either going to take you to the top or the bottom. But at least it means that you're not going to be like the normal, like everyone else, like the majority, right? So what that essentially means is if you just step back for a second and just realize that what you're doing is actually for the benefit of your life, you're actually going to be heading to the top, right? That's the whole reason why we're in trading. We want to be able to have a life that's whatever that means in anyone's eyes, more freedom, success, wealth, whatever. So we're going to be heading to the top, right? And on the way, you're gonna have people call you crazy. But the way I see it is, crazy can just be called a compliment. It could just be a compliment to what you're doing, right? And at least it's kind of a reminder of what you're doing. Now, for many people, they're not going to want to like to hear this, and they're going to be easily swayed by other people's opinions of what they might be doing. And unfortunately, this can sometimes take them away from potential success, or potential life trajectory that could have completely changed their life. But they let the normal way of thinking, the way the majority of people think, sway them away from that. So you're going to be called crazy for a long, long time until you reach the top. And only then, when you reach the top, is when you're going to be called exceptional, hard worker, special. But it's just for this whole lines portion of the journey that it's going to take a lot of mental endurance to really try and claw past what society's expectations are of you, not just with your own people close to you, but what other people think that you might be doing. It's hard, and it's not easy to get past, when everyone else out there is doing what they can to try and earn a living, and you're doing something different. Obviously, you're going to have people give you their attention, and therefore that you'll start getting attention, bad attention, pretty much. But if you're really fixated on what it really takes to become a trader, right? You have to be extremely fixated on the end goal, essentially. You have to be extremely fixated on it and thinking about it all the time. And this is where, in some people's eyes, it could be considered delusion. But I think if you're really fixated on becoming a successful trader, even if you do get humbled by the markets, and even if you do lose, and if you have minor setbacks, which happens in trading, that's a completely normal thing. There has to be like a good balance between being really ambitious and knowing when things aren't going your way, and staying adaptable, right? Staying adaptable to it. So there is a very fine line between calling someone delusional and insane and actually being delusional or insane. This might be kind of a hard, like, a difficult concept to kind of grasp, but it only really makes sense in someone's eyes who really, I'm assuming if you're watching this, is because you're really fixated on wanting to become a good trader, right? And you may also realize at some point that what you're doing is not going to be liked by a lot of people because it's not the normal way of how people go about their lives. It's different. So when you do something different, it's not going to have a good reciprocation, When you're not doing something that everyone else is doing, it's not going to have a good response. Most likely it's going to be a bad response unless someone has been there and done that already. So essentially, you have to be insane or delusional to become a good trader. And I actually, you have to be thinking in your mind, right, that you're going to become a successful trader. You're going to be funded. You're going to have X amount of money. You're going to have this. You're going to have this freedom. You're going to be successful, right? And this is essentially keeping to your word and manifesting it, right? So I've read this book recently called The Secret by Rhonda Byrne. It's a book about the law of attraction and manifestation, right? So if you just keep reminding yourself in your mind that you're going to be a successful trader, you're going to be a successful businessman, you're going to be whatever it is you want to be, then as long as you're taking the actions towards the things that you're trying to achieve, then in due time, it will eventually happen, right? Because manifestation is real. The law of attraction is real, So the only way this doesn't work is if you're just doing that and just not doing anything. If you're not doing anything, then obviously nothing's going to happen. But you have to be able to take action so that the world can align itself to what you're trying to achieve, right? And again, if you said to a normal person that you're going to be a successful trader and they acknowledge how the trading space is like, because as I've said it numerous times in previous videos, the trading space is not well pictured. It's depicted really badly by social media and just society in general. But if you told someone that you're going to be a trader and you said you're going to be a successful trader and you're going to make it, most likely than not, they're not going to have a good reaction to that. And they might wish you well, say good luck, but is it going to be a good response? I don't know. But that was essentially everything that I wanted to talk about in this video. And it takes a lot of realization to understand that doing something that's different is never going to come with a good response. In the beginning, that is. But it's just good to know that even if you don't have the sort of weight on your shoulders, if you don't have pressure on your shoulders, like someone to rely on, someone who relies on you, or family, or someone to care for, then you can go about your trading journey knowing that you're gonna end up making it, right? And it's not going to be a steady journey, but at least you know that if you're on your way to do something and you're going to learn things along the way and you're going to lose and you're going to be humbled sometimes, but as long as you acknowledge that and know what you're doing right and wrong, then you're going to become a successful trader. And that's just the truth. As long as you believe in yourself that you're going to do it, then it's going to happen then. But being able to evade, dodge past typical expectations of people, society, and the way people think, the majority way of thinking, that is one of the, to me, in my opinion, that's one of the struggles, one of the major struggles of becoming a good trader, right? And we always say that becoming one of the most of the struggles of becoming a successful trader is they're all mental. They're all mental struggles. It's always you against you, because you're not in competition with anyone else. The market is always where it's. You're not going to be in competition with the market. It's just you coming over your emotions, your behavioral patterns, because the way that you came about trading and the way it resonated with you is because it matches you and your character as a person, right? I'm sure most people who are experienced in trading, they know this by now, that it wasn't just a streamlined journey. Some people have a better environment than others when it comes to their trading, right? No one can accept it from the get-go that they want to be a trader. And for you to continually push through all this mess that's out there, your environment, social media, having to endure a lot of pain and suffering in your life beforehand, that takes a lot of mental strength. And if you have that mental strength, then it's going to translate into your trading and you'll find success from it. But that was everything I just wanted to talk about in this video, and I know this video has just been a bit all over the place, actually. I think I've just been talking a lot too much, and it's just been a lot of waffle, but I think I've just about got the point across about not trying to be, but you're going to be seen as delusional, or you're going to be seen as insane when you're on the way to what you're trying to achieve, right? Appreciate you guys for listening this far, and stay happy, stay positive, stay blessed, and thanks for watching.